Carly, if you were president, what would be your message to Russian President Putin as far as Ukraine is concerned? Would you have a different policy than the one that we have now, which nobody can really figure out what it is anyway?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't talk to Putin, actually. I've met him. I've had a rather long meeting with him. I wouldn't talk to him. I wouldn't call him, because the truth is we've talked too much to him. I would immediately do three things. Start rebuilding the Sixth Fleet in a very visible manner. Conduct aggressive military exercises in the Baltic states. I would begin to move troops in and out of Germany. Those would be very powerful symbols. A week ago, John, I would have told you that I would arm the Ukrainians. But we now know that the Ukrainians, because we have not acted, the Ukrainians have turned to the Chechens for support. The Chechens are in alliance with ISIS. This is a demonstration of the fact that when there is no action, a dangerous situation becomes more dangerous. Mm-hmm. But if those three things are done, and I would do them, Putin would get the message that, I guess the United States of America is willing to confront me again. Longer term, by the way, we have to be the global energy powerhouse of the 21st century, because Putin gets a lot of his power from energy, and we could diminish that power.
So you've got the Ukrainians now, you're saying, turning to what is a terrorist organization who backs ISIS simply because we didn't do anything and they had no option, right?
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. I mean, we talked and talked and talked, but we did nothing. Mm-hmm. And so the message is very clear to Putin, keep going, and the message is equally clear to the Ukrainians. We cannot count on the United States of America.
What would your message be to President Assad in Syria?
Well, the Syrian situation has gotten extremely complex, once again, because we did not act. And so, honestly, there is no easy solution in Syria now. The moderate rebel groups that we once could have armed are, in many ways, no more. The big battle going on in Syria now is between the Syrian regime and ISIS, two really bad choices. What I would do is hold a Camp David summit immediately with our Arab allies, potentially involve the Turks as well. The first conversation with our Arab allies would be, what do you need from us to defeat ISIS? They know this is their fight. They've asked us four very specific things. The Egyptians, the Kuwaitis, the Jordanians, the Kurds, the Saudis, every single one of these nations are fighting ISIS as we speak on the ground. And they need support from us, bombs and materiel, intelligence, special ops. They've asked for all these things. We've provided nothing. However, at the same time, I would speak to them about what is the right answer now in Syria. This is a tremendously complicated situation. I would turn to our military commanders as well and ask them for options. Many of those options have been provided, we know, to the administration, and none of those options have been acted upon. But there's not an easy answer right now in Syria, to be very honest.
And I appreciate that honesty and that candor. Carly Fiorina, let's get to the domestic front. A horrific terrorist attack now. 5 of our soldiers dead. Now we find out they were not armed. Now we got the DOD saying, well, maybe what they need to do is just go in civilian clothes. What say you?
For heaven's sakes, let us repeal the law that prevents our military from defending themselves. It is shameful that this coward terrorist drives by in a car, and we have Marines who are Purple Heart winners, veterans. They have been in firefights in terrible places in the world, and they cannot defend themselves. For heaven's sake, let us allow them to defend themselves, whether they are in recruiting centers or on the base or with their families. We've known for some time that ISIS was targeting military installations, military members, and their families. ISIS declared this on their websites. This shouldn't have been a secret, and as usual, we have a government that is now prepared to do too little too late. This is why people lose faith, because they say, you know what, everybody gives speeches after the fact. We give speeches after the fact. We give speeches after we learned 250,000+ veterans died with without being given access to proper care, despite the ongoing scandals of the Veterans Administration. The answers here are usually pretty obvious, but it takes leadership and political will to act before it's too late, or to do the right thing when the right thing is blindingly obvious.
Okay, we are out of time. We want to thank presidential candidate from Virginia, Carly Fiorina, for being with us. For more information, go to carlyforpresident.com, carlyforpresident.com. Hey, we really appreciate your being on and this in-depth dialogue that we had, Ms. Fiorina. Thank you so much.
John, it's my great pleasure. Thank you.